Hello everyone and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Well, let the trial of Sister Iris begin. So without further ado, let's go. Alright, so we're back at the defendant lobby yet again. Here we go. Oh my, Mr. Larice feels that way about me? Apparently. He isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Worry not. And in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Well, out him. Does that mean Mr. Larissa is the witness today? No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. Sister Bikini. She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Elise Nim. Sorry, Donim. And I just watched the anime like not 5 minutes ago. So yeah, I got the enunciation right. It's kind of like saying the donut, but it's Donim. Elise Donim. Correct? That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well then. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed, don't worry. I've taken the necessary steps. You have? Iris. It is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. Well, truth be told, it was something he always wanted to be since he was a child. But unfortunately, the DL6 incident occurred, which made him change his path because of it. So, if you want to know more about that particular case, you gotta go all the way back to the first game. Well, my first let's play. Well, not my first let's, but back to the let's play of the final trial for the first Phoenix Wright game. So, a defense attorney's job is to believe in people and to believe until the bitter end. That's what a friend of mine told me once. Mr. Edgeworth, you may pass a judgment on me from the defendant's chair. You are the one to decide whether or not I am able to do the task I have been entrusted. Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands. Alright, let the trial begin. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hasakura Temple. And yes, as you can see, it's the judge's younger brother. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such blatant a waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem that this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. I am ready to announce my verdict at this time. The court finds the defendant.
Objection!
Guess who's back? The prosecution stands ready. And you are? Franziska von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you say? Perchance you wouldn't be any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma. That is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purpose of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor? I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Miss Von Karma, do you have anything to say? There is no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't. But I'm sure what I told you there is no such weakling. What is that? A whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. The bailiff, remove that whip at. I have no objection to the whip. You don't? The prosecution can wield the whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. But there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I had to expect to face Phoenix right here today, but looking at you, maybe this is what I've been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip. Sorry. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Allow me to add to the things. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. What? The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Very well. Miss Von Karma, please give an outline of this case, with as little whipping as possible. The murder victim is the famed picture book author Miss Elise Donim. Her body was found in the Hasakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture is a weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo of the crime scene. Alright, so we get our next piece of evidence, the crime photo. There is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to her crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. And so it begins. My first and my last trial as a defense attorney. I found my thumbnail. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Hold on there. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for witnesses with bad backs. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little old me? Well, I'm the head nun of Hasakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Ugh! The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave this sanctuary at once. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. What? In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let us hear what you have to say then. First, tell us are they supposed to sound Canadian? Or some, or an accent of some other country? I'm at a loss right now. Anyways, first to tell us about your own, or maybe it was a spelling error. I don't know. Comments, love to read them. First of all, to tell us about your own movements that night, eh? All right, here we go. It's testimony number 1. Oh, what's the point in saying testimony like 1, 2, or 3? I'm gonna lose count either way. The night of the murder. That night, I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. So, I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hasakuta Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. It was after I finished, just after I was heading back, that's when I saw it. So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hasakuta Temple? Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There's only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle now, are you, Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Alright, here we go. Cross-examination time. Well, on the part where it says, so I left Iris to help the acolyte, I'm going to present something. Let's see, where is it? Here it is. And return to Hasakuta Temple. I'm going to present Iris's testimony. And it reads, rang lights out bell at 10 p.m. and was then in her room until the murder was discovered. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all. Well, don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all. The head honcho of Hasakuta Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant Iris, she claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No! She said that? A defendant or a witness, who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to not cover her back. But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hasakuta Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make a much better alibi. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. All people lie. That is my belief. Okay, so that includes you. Do you lie? Miss Von Karma? Do you lie? Why am I the only one being whipped here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reasons to lie, which means we must call your memory into question. Dear, 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 you're older than me, and yet you want to play that game, do you? Well, that isn't exactly what My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter. Then I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. Then please, add your comments about Iris to the testimony, and let us return to the cross-examination. Alright. New testimony. That night I was helping an acolyte with her training and... Oh, wait. I need to go into the new testimony. Here we go. Iris came to the inner temple, and she was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner. Wasn't there something she was supposed to wear? Rather, her hood? Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute. Objection! Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's the question of the day now, is it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night. But before the lights out, bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, the defendant couldn't have been wearing this hood. Well. For the kid Cody, they only needed 1 milk crate, but for Sister Bikini, they needed 2 milk crates? Oh wow. I guess she must be that short. Wow. Anyways, it's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Order! Order in the what the... Sister, this hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see. A stockpile. A surplus of hoods, eh? Each nun is only given 1 hood. This hood should be the only one that Iris owned. Then this is quite strange. What? If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There is no contradiction here. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness, while I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory simulation. Alright, next testimony. After my bath. Here we go. I finished my bath at around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris was Oh, Mystic Elise! And with that sword of all things, Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room which faces out into the onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. Hmm. Anyways, you saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in court, and me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that. This judge, his imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would like the fool. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? So yeah, the stabbing I saw. Something's not. I mean, well, not the stabbing. More like pushed. Like Miss Elise Donim was pushed out of the window. Well, her window. How though? Let's take a look at her autopsy report real quick. Before I presented. Alright. Let's see, where is that autopsy report? Here it is. Alright. Miss Elise Donim's autopsy report. 10 p.m. through 11 p.m. Cause of death? Loss of blood from stab in the back. Body fell 10 feet after death. Let's present it. Impressive logic. That's what I like to say anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right. It says after death right here. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Order! Order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree? That is a logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And she was then thrown out of her window down... Let me say that again. And she was then thrown out of her window and down into the courtyard below. Were there any signs of struggle in Miss Donim's room? She was stabbed with the sword. That would leave a bloodstain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma? Was there any blood? What? No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. However, if there was no blood in the room, then your claim is... I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure Your Honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood? Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of the blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed. When a weapon's still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound. That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. We have to come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. Oh my, this is getting even more fun as the case progresses. Order! 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 I must admit that this is a poor, sorry, I was about to say, portable, in actuality, probable version of events. I'd expect no less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all suspicion, supposition on your part, and tell us only the truth, please. Witness, please, remain standing on the crate. Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. With the whip? Oh boy. Alright. Alright. Next testimony, please. Further details. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it, I didn't exactly see her stab Mystic Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Mystic Ami was stabbing a Mystic Elise through the back. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility. Franziska Von Karma. And I'm here to teach you just that. Alright, here we go. But not ever seen so much blood before? I'm gonna need some more details on that, Sister Bikini. Let's see, here it is. So, you're saying you saw the victim's blood? That's right. Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well? That seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point further? Oh yeah. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now, you say you saw the victim bleeding? Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw. What did you see? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day. Pulling the sword out? Well, it wasn't exactly pulling, it was more like it came out. Witness, you will add this statement to your testimony. Oh, was that important? More important than you can imagine. Alright. New testimony. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt and was smoothly drawn out. Let's show her that blade. The Shichishito. The 7-branched blade. Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so, but there are too many contradictions here. Well, what do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. What do you mean? Please explain yourself. To start with, don't you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that. Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble. I too may appear to be weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep, should I so choose. The objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit. That isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed into the victim's body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. That's... We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop from bleeding. That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with the Shichishito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly, and may still sometimes stop the bleeding, the blood loss. I'm not finished. There's still one more conclusive contradiction. You still got more? This one is simple. If the sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. No! Order! What the... Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that. But what does this all mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can only be one answer. And that is... Oh, sorry, that was Von Karma. And that is... The weapon used to kill the victim was not the Shichishito. What? A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a hardy foolish fool. Like I said, get used to her saying fool in any matter. In any matter. So, the word fool is stuck in her vocabulary. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon? Well, it's because Mystic Ami was holding it. Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was too strong. This is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shichishito was the murder weapon. Order! Order! What? So maybe the Shichishito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, music stopped. If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. Sis. The obvious question? Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. That's... Answer the question, Miss Von Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Another mystery to throw on the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking. It's possible that just maybe what actually happened was... It was just over there. What exactly are you going on about here? The murder weapon, I mean, maybe. I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. You what? Well then, I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Impossible. What else? What else could this old woman have seen? Alright, next one. Location of the weapon. I saw the murder weapon at around 11 p.m. and after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there, I saw tracks. Tracks that indicate the snowmobile had been used. You don't say. I'm gonna have to press on that. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all. Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time. Well, I'm not in the best of shape. What with my back and my age, you know. Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here's a photograph. A snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. The tracks begin in front of Hasakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge. Alright, so we get our next piece of evidence, the tracks photo. That solves your little pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon. Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon? Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please. Alright, so where it says I saw the tracks, I'm gonna press on that. More info. I saw the murder. Oh, sorry. Let's see, let's go right here. Let's see. And then there was, I saw the tracks. Here we go. As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited. That's it. Oh, sorry. That's it. That's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls. Now, you're certain the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived? Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the gate. So, she had already gone, discarded the murder weapon, and returned by that time. I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? Press further. I need answers to every possible doubt. The snowmobile in question, was it still warm at the time? Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, eh? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? I'm playing to a slow crowd here. It goes without saying that using a snowmobile will heat its engine. If it was still warm, then it means it was recently used. Ah, I see. I never thought of that. That's right. I overlooked that too. Of course you did. Then answer the question, please, witness. I don't often go around touching hot engines. However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it. Snow? Yes, for some reason only the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow. There wasn't any snow on it? Curses. It seems highly likely that the killer did use the snowmobile then, eh? How long does it take to get to the Dusky Bridge by snowmobile? Alright, so it says it takes about 15 minutes, but that's not the plan right now. I'm gonna go into the statement. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle Bridge, which is this one right here. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is present the tracks photo. I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, why is there only one set of tracks? What do you mean? Iris the Tasakuta Temple threw the weapon into the river and then returned. If that was the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge and those from coming back. You're right. You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge was erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction now, doesn't it? I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in her theory? This idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks, well, there is a contradiction. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all of the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from the Dusky Bridge. In order to dispose of the murder weapon, the outgoing tracks were erased by snow. Or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, please present evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. Well, let's see. The weather data. A regional weather report for the night of the crime. Yeah, here's something that I did not even check, so might as well check it now. Eagle Mountain weather data for February 7th. Snow, with occasional lightning strikes. Snow, 7 to approximately 10:50 p.m. Lightning, 10 to approx 11 p.m. Lightning struck the Dusky Bridge at 10:45. Around 30 minutes passed between the fire starting and going out. So let's present the weather data. Witness, please tell us again, what time was it when you witnessed the crime? Like I said, it was around 11. Of course. This means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report? Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Order! Order! Very well then. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. What? It's too soon to be closing of this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this then. When is a weather report ever correct? No. You've got it all wrong. There isn't a forecast. This is actual data. Yeah. Forecast, data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. Excuse me. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. It's true. We cannot be totally sure, eh? What? How did she pull that off? It had to stop snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. I've come this far. There's no turning back now. Very well. I too cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where is your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? That's easy. A crime photo. Let's have a look. Now, normally, you would see snow tumbling down, and yes, cameras do in fact can take pictures of snowfall, but as you can clearly see, There's no snow at all. Not even coming down in the picture. Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being whether or not it was snowing in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, but proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception. Oops, excuse me. That was a silent burp. And that is the victim herself, Miss Elise Donim. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed. That's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph, there should be two sets of tracks. Order! Order! Just what are you... Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? To be honest, I am not entirely sure myself, but... this is simply what all of the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hasakuda Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for the Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were gone. Then when this person returned to Hasakuda Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remain. I apologize if you hear any rain and stuff. Yeah, there's a little storm heading that's passing by, so I apologize. Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There's only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder, which can only mean that night Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge, so she must have left it on the Hasakuda side of the bridge and crossed on foot. That sounds right. But what's odd is when I left Iris and returned to the Hasakuda Temple, I didn't see anything near the ski bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hasakuda Temple, it was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow. But that isn't possible! Order! Order! Order in the court! What does this all mean? So then, what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be two sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hasakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile would cause so much trouble. I think we've arrived at this point due to the witness. Yes, I've nothing more to add. I've told you everything I need, everything that I know. Well then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out walking perhaps near the Dusky Bridge on that night? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that, unless they had something really important to do. That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out that subarctic night. Your Honor, I actually have an idea. There may be one individual able to help us. Really? You know of someone who might have seen the other snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are two things about him that do come to mind. Which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And the second being, the individual that I'm thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about? Kinda mean, but funny though. Larry Butts. This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc de Ladoc's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting. This is Larry Butts, the student of the victim Elise Donim. Her student? Interesting. Why was he wandering on the night of the murder? That's... I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was perhaps searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him. Although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man, what exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry, you may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to prepare the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. Whew. Oh, wow. This is barely the beginning. Alright, so I'm going to take a little break, and I'll be back, and we will continue on with this trial. So, cut! Okay, I'm back. Alright, here we go. So, let's begin the second part of the trial here. So now we're back at the good old lobby. So let's all go to the lobby. I don't know why I said that, but... Alright, here we go. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not really sure what to say. Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are two things which I need to ask... There are two things which I need to ask you before we Reconvene. Alright, I'll help you any way I can. First, about that night. You really didn't go to the inner temple, correct? The last witness claims to have met and talked with you in the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying. Mr. Edgeworth, it is just as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room in Hasakuda Temple. Very well. The second thing, then. That night, the temple snowmobile was used in between the times Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and when she bore witness to the murder. Sometime between 10:30 and 11 p.m. that night. Were you the one who used that snowmobile? There's only one key for the snowmobile. The only person who could have used it was me. So it was you. But why? What made you go to the Dusky Bridge? Ooh, silence. Oh, the music has gone silent. So you know what that means. Alright, here we go. I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, no. Oh, wow. One thing I should mention, they actually keep this song, at least I think, until it gets kind of remixed for, I think it was Spirit of Justice or Dual Destinies, but they sound pretty well. The whole Cyclock theme, I really like this theme. Iris, I can't tell you about that yet. Yet? Not until her safety is confirmed. Her? The safety of the Acolyte. The Acolyte? Huh? She must be talking about Maya. Iris, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Donham? No matter who or what may come, I could never take a life. As I thought. No psychologue. Very well. It is my job to get to the other truth. You'll discover this for yourself soon enough. Alright, so we're back at the good old trial. Yeah, this final story is really getting interesting. And y'all know that. Court will now reconvene. Miss Von Karma? Where is the witness? During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behavior in the gallery. Suspicious behavior? He was sketching something very intensely. Dare I ask what the witness was sketching when he was detained? He drew a terrifying woman armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip. Isn't it obvious who he's drawing for Francisca? Anyways, I can only presume that his intention was to capture you. Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse of an artist before the court. Larice Donham, I hope you're ready. Get in here. It would seem that whip is going to see plenty more use today. No kidding. Ouch! Your sketch is in contempt of this court. Hey, I was just artistically ouch. You tried to run away from the bailiff who was trying to hand you your subpoena, correct? Look, I'm nothing but a fledgling artist training out in the mountains. I'm only down here in the city because I ran out of green paint. Well, to use the technical term for the color, Viridian. Larry, this isn't an art store now, is it? I know, I graduated junior high, okay? Look, art is all about working in the fields, isn't it? Working in the fields? I presume he wanted to say field work, I hope. That's it. Thanks, buddy. It's kind of sad that I was able to understand his mangled train wreck of a sentence. I just happened to stop in here and found a wonderful new model. So see, I've got nothing to do with this trial at all. I expect all of your faces to be red when you realize this mistake. Bright red, or to use the technical term, Crimson Lake. Ouch! 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 Stop your pathetic babbling and testify like a man. Refrain from whipping me, Miss Von Karma. Cross-whipping is as bad as cross-checking. Witness! That was all your fault. Testify. Now! This is almost too much for me. Alright, here we go. What I saw. I was at the lodge house out in the mountains, looking up at the stars that night. I walked to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't meet anyone at the bridge that night. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. I'm all alone now. Aren't I edgy? Witness, please refrain from talking directly to the lawyers during your testimony. I'm just a nobody, nothing but a small, worthless man, aren't I? And, why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation or anything else? Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex. He's recently been the cause of numerous incidents. I refer to the past cases in previous games. Well, I mean, trial-wise and, trying to ask for, getting info from out of him. So I refer to the other games. I think he's finally realized for himself just how much of a nuisance he has been to other people. Yeah, that's right. I'm behind everything. Every case. Well, not every case. Watch out, okay? Just touch me, I will make you eternally unhappy. Well then, let us proceed with the cross-examination, with no touching, thank you. We can delve into other details at a later time. Alright, here we go. Where the part where it says, I didn't meet anyone at the bridge? About that. Let's see, let's go to where it says that. No, not there. I didn't see a snowmobile. Here it is. But he did. He did see someone. Who? There you go. Mr. Phoenix Wright. Larry Butts. I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. You're pretty pathetic, and you cause all sorts of trouble. I'm sorry. But, having realized just how much of a nuisance you have been, that could be considered a step in the right direction. Edgy, are you trying to console me? It certainly doesn't sound that way to me. However, I cannot forgive you for simply turning away from the incidents you create. What? You're totally pinning this on me? Now then, let us talk about the night of the murder. Sister Bikini, after seeing the murder take place, asked Phoenix Wright to report it. Thus, he headed for the public phone by the bridge. There he happened across a certain nefarious individual. You, Larry Butts. That's right. Me. In the flesh. Listen carefully, witness. It doesn't matter if you change your name. So long as you remain pretty pathetic, you will continue to cause these incidents. Honestly, that is kind of harsh. I mean, yeah, he can be like Gumshoe, but trust me, Gumshoe is a lot better than Larry, in my opinion. But he has helped in certain cases. So I wouldn't call Larry a pathetic guy. He's doing his best. He's struggling, but in a good way, if I want to put it that way. So basically, I don't think he's a pathetic guy or anything. Like, yeah, he's kind of on par in terms of clumsiness to in terms of clumsiness. I compare him to Maggie in a way, but he's a good guy. So the only thing they should have done is at least what he said earlier to console him. I mean, he is willing to help, but you know, unless he gets something in return, by the way. But all in all, he's not a bad person. I mean, yeah, everybody has their ups and downs, but come on, seriously. So long as you remain pretty pathetic, you will continue to cause these incidents. That reality will not change. And your dumbness won't change, Judge. With what you did 6 years earlier. But what do you want me to do then, Larry? What you need to change is your inner self. What you saw that night. Testify truthfully. That is all you can do for now. Edgy, I think I finally woken up. No, it's not what you think. Well, I guess I could still be sleeping. But anyway, I'll do it. I'll testify. Well, I'm not sure if this will go especially well. I'll ask again then. Witness, what did you see on the night of the murder? Here we go. Testimony number 2. What I saw. Part 2. Here we go. I went to the shack at around 9, so it would have been about 10:30 p.m. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window and the dusky bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. That's when I ran into Nick. You certainly saw quite a lot, didn't you? So, what happened to the bridge after it caught on fire? It was like me after a 3-day stint chasing a girl. It totally burned out, like almost totally gone. I mean, trying to cross the bridge remains was what caused Nick to fall. What did you say? Oh, don't worry. Nothing life-threatening. He just caught a cold. As always, hard to know if he should be called lucky or unlucky. In the anime, they kind of changed just a bit. In the English dub, he says, He didn't sustain any injuries. He only caught a cold. And yeah, the line used in the game is the same line Von Karma used in the anime. So at least I think it was. I don't quite remember. But anyways, now Mr. Edgeworth, please commence your cross examination. All right, here we go. The part where it says there was still some thunder. I need to ask more info on that. Let's see. Where is it? No, not that one. There was still some... Ah, here we go. There was still some thunder. So I'm going to press. You said right away, but exactly how long after the strike was that? The lightning fell and then the bridge caught on fire. Maybe around 5 minutes? I mean, I suddenly thought, gotta go check this out. How far is this small shack you were in from the bridge? Hold on. Well, it had pretty much stopped snowing. I guess about a 5-minute walk. And how did the Dusky Bridge look when you got there? Like, I had recovered a piece of my childhood. I mean, not even the bonfires kids make during school camping trips can compare. Well, should I press him for a little more info? But the question that I should be asking, why didn't he call anyone? Larry, let me ask you one thing. What is it, Edgy? What's with the serious face? Why didn't you call anyone? What do you mean? Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try and tell someone. There is a public phone right by the Dusky Bridge, correct? Well, of course. I thought of doing that. So then, let's hear why you didn't. Huh? Yeah, okay. A reason. My reason? It isn't that I didn't try to tell anyone. I just didn't have time to, okay? Alright, new testimony. I arrived at the bridge and Nick showed up less than a minute later. Okay, so I guess I can present something. And that would be the weather data. Your very existence being your very existence being a contradiction. I'm not sure if you can grasp this or not. What the hey, Edgy? You make me sound like some sort of alien. But your testimony is conclusively contradictory. The problem here is time. I've never been the best timekeeper, you know. 3 minutes later, 3 minutes after Billy leaves on foot, you follow him on your bicycle. How long does it take for you to catch up with him? Terrible at those. This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike the Dusky Bridge, and immediately went to see what had happened. Is this correct? Yeah, well, I wasted about 5 minutes first, but more or less. I have the weather data from the night of the murder here. According to this, the lightning fell at 10:45 p.m. You say it takes less than 5 minutes from the shack to the Dusky Bridge, meaning you probably got there at around 11 p.m. That all sounds about right, I guess. And then Nick showed up and did his falling act. That is impossible. What do you mean? 11 p.m. is when the murder occurred in Hasakuta Temple. Thus, Wright was still there, In the courtyard. There is no way that Larry could have encountered him at the Dusky Bridge at that time. Excuse me? I have an objection. You do? Edgy, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not Larry. I'm Laurie Stone. Yeah? It has not been proven that the murder occurred at 11 p.m. A sister only said around 11. In which case, it could have been earlier than that. Watch your footing there, Miss Francisca von Karma. The slope ahead is slippery. For there is still no way that Wright could have been at the Dusky Bridge at 11 p.m. And why not? It is clearly written here in the weather data report. It took around 30 minutes for the bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burning until at least 11:15. Which means, what exactly? Wright did not see the bridge as it was burning that night. He did not arrive there until the flames had died down. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11 p.m. Wright did not make it there until at least 11:15. And are you still trying to hide something from us? What happened during these missing 15 minutes? Saving money on my car insurance by switching to Geico? I feel like I just woke up. I guess I was still sleeping after all. Yeah, there was more dialogue, but for the record, I did not skip anything. So there was a missing 15 minutes prior to meeting Phoenix, right? I hardly see that as much of a problem. Yeah, not much of a problem at all. Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes, and there is still a phone right next to it. Why then did you not report the accident? Did you simply watch the bridge burn? That is the problem here. Even after the bridge burnt out, he was still there. He simply stood there and didn't report anything. That's what it sounds like. This might be Larry we are talking about, but even he is incapable of being so stupid. There has to be a reason for his inaction. Edgy, I think it's about time I got serious with you, dude. Just as I thought. You've been playing with us all this time. Listen, I'm going to tell you everything. Are you sure you want to hear it all? Yes. I may really say it this... Then say it! Very well. I have a terribly bad feeling about this. However, let's have the witness finally give us the whole truth. Now, for this a 15-minute gap, what were you doing, witness? Alright, next testimony. The missing 15 minutes. Alright, here we go. I'm a donym. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. The shock and awe that I was feeling, I transferred it all directly onto the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out, and then he came running up. I suppose artists can be strange folk. That's right. I'm willing to sacrifice everything in order to draw the perfect sketch, including the truth of the sound of it. Mr. Edgeworth, has this removed the last of your doubts? Not at all, Your Honor. One very large doubt still remains. And what would that be? This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So, why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I intend to drag the reason out of him. You'll regret this, Edgy. Alright, so the part where he says sketching in front of the bridge. That's where I'm gonna need some more info on that. There we go. And press. Sketching the burning bridge? The burning bridge and everything that came with it. What came with it? You, I want to hear this from my lips. Do you, Edgy? You'll regret this. The sketch of mine is enough. Just take that ridiculous sketch of yours out already, witness. What are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. That does indeed appear to be the fastest solution. I'll leave it to you, Mr. Edgeworth. What should I do? I've got a terrible feeling that the instant the sketch is revealed, the entire world may be changed by what is depicted there. No choice but to look at the sketch. Larry, I wonder if you could show us your sketch, please? Well. Even I couldn't have imagined it to turn out like this. Imagined what? That Laurie Stoneham's debut would take place here today, like this. Ouch! Show it now. Okay, but steel yourselves. This is the world of Laurie Stoneham. Well, so this is Dusky Bridge, correct? Quite a large bridge, isn't it? Your response, Miss Von Karma? Yes, well, it's a better drawing than I expected. And trust me, it is a good drawing. I'm not kidding, that is a very good drawing. Isn't it? I struggled to reproduce those flames. I really did. Yes, I'm sure you did. This is going to get ugly. No one has the bravery to bring it up, it seems. This mysterious flying object? Larry. What? The burning bridge is fine, but what is that unfortunate looking figure? Ah, you spotted that. I thought you might. Excuse me. However much I might want to ignore it, I can't. It's Iris, of course. Iris. I wish she'd taken better care of herself. We have to plan our future, you know. What would have happened to her if she had injured herself flying like that? Larry, please answer this next question honestly. Okay. Are you really claiming to have seen this? Are you claiming to have seen this silhouette of the defendant flying over a bridge that was engulfed in flames? Yep, that's what I saw. That's why I drew it. I'm an artist, a real artist. If it was Iris, I don't think it's in the evidence just yet, is it? No, it isn't. But think about it. Oh, sorry. But think about it. If that were Iris, she wouldn't be in this courtroom at all. Like I said, if that were Iris, she wouldn't be in the courtroom right now at all. So who was it that jumped down the bridge? We're about to find out. Are you high? The girl, she's really high up in the picture. What, what was that for? This is all a bad dream. I was hitting you on the cheek to test that theory. Please whip your own cheek from now on if you wish to test your wild theories. Anyway, no court of law will ever acknowledge that people can fly. Actually, there is some precedent for this. She was flying pretty high, my sweet Iris. She was about 30 feet above the bridge, at least. It was really something to see. This has to be some kind of a mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back down to earth. What? Me? This witness is your friend, is he not? Accessory to foolishness. Miles Edgeworth. Let us get back to the cross-examination. By force, if necessary. Mr. Edgeworth, I expect you to expose the obvious contradiction here. Yes, Your Honor. Looks like I've got another reason to remember this moron. Well, what do you think of my debut piece? Get that thing away from me. But it's part of the evidence, so, take that, Judge. Now hurry up and cross-examine him. Alright, so let's have so the part where it says I saw Iris flying. I think that should be new evidence there. I saw Iris flying. Her white hood was fluttering. About that. Yeah. Keep in mind that Iris didn't have her hood. She gave it to someone. Larry, what did you really see that night? Not that I particularly care. In your position, that's just being irresponsible. I drew exactly what I saw. I'll give you a whole $1 that it's the truth. If that is truly the case, then there is one thing that we can say for certain. What might that be? That person who flew over the bridge could not have been the defendant, Iris. What? What do you mean? I don't understand. A foolhardy folly of a foolish statement by an equally foolishly foolhardy fool. How exactly can you make this claim? Tell us, Larry. According to this picture, the individual whom you say you saw was wearing a hood, correct? Of course she was. That rundown shack is quite away from the bridge. The hood is what told me that this floating angel was my Iris. The hood is my darling Iris, and Iris is my darling hood. It seems there are bigger fools in this world than the one at the defense's bench. Larry, there's something you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing her hood. She gave it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Perhaps suggest it was Wright who took flight? Well, what are you talking about? I think you understand what I mean just fine. Why? Why did Nick have Iris's hood? Huh? Angie, what's going on with Iris and Nick? Why you, Nick, you dog? I do believe that this unbelievable, mysterious sketch is destined to disappear, discredited and discarded, straight into the garbage. Ah! What is it now, witness? It feels like I've been waiting 25 years for this day to come. Edgy, today is the day I get to completely stupefy you. What? What is the meaning of your outburst, witness? I hate to have to do this, but I have some definitive evidence. Definitive evidence? Iris did indeed come flying over the burning bridge, and I, Laurice Donim, shall prove it. I didn't expect to ask this again, but we shall be needing your testimony once again. Tell us anything you know concerning the defendant as depicted in this sketch, and show us your evidence that this nightmare was actually a reality. Okay, I hope you're ready, Edgy, because I'm going to feed you a whooping serving of pain. You've been serving us a whooping serving of pain this whole time. Trust me. Alright. Last testimony for Larry. I hope. Proof that Iris flew. When I reached the Dusky Bridge, she was already gone. I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her. That led me to finding a beautiful crystal sphere, half buried in the snow. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. After all, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night. About that. A crystal sphere? Hold on one second. Ah, much better. I really needed that drink of water. Alright, crystal sphere? This one. Pretty, isn't it? But finders keepers. That sphere. Where did you find it? Let me see. Around here, somewhere. Looks about right. And it was half buried in the snow. It had pretty much stopped snowing by then, but there was still some falling as I walked to the bridge. The court accept this crystal sphere. That's mine, okay? I want it back afterward. There's something on it, isn't there? Oh my! It's a bloodstain! What? A bloodstain? Thus we get our next piece of evidence, the bloodstain. Yeah, so if you're wondering, take a look at the victim's staff here. Do you notice that something is missing? Or better yet, let me see if I have the picture here. Here we go. Dun dun dun! There you go. The crystal ball was on the staff of Elise Donim. Like I said, there's more to the staff than meets the eye. More on that later. Alright, so let me go back here. Go back here. You ready, Edgy? By tomorrow morning, you'll be calling me Master Larry. Yeah, I like the sound of that. No one's going to push me around anymore. Didn't you want to be called Laurice Donim only a few minutes ago? Alright, so that part where it says, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere. I gotta present something. Let's see. I'm sure that Iris was simply blah 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 blah. After all, here we go. No one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night. So I gotta present the photo of Elise. Larry, that night, there was someone who lost a crystal sphere. There was? Who? Who was this stupid idiot? Miss Elise Donham, the mentor to a stupid idiot. The victim? I have a photo of her here. And on the end of her staff, you can see a familiar-looking crystal sphere. Hey! That's my photograph! Give it back! Ouch! A crystal sphere like that is quite easy to find. I have one just like that on my brooch. They look nothing alike. And she knows it. In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff, found at the scene of the crime. The crystal sphere. It's gone. What? What? Just what does this mean? If anyone jumped or flew across the bridge that night, it certainly was not Iris. After all, she was not wearing her hood, more importantly. The crystal sphere found at the landing site was not hers either. That means the one who flew and dropped the sphere was the victim, Miss Elise Donham. A fool alongside another fool on a fool's errand to reach a foolish conclusion. First of all, this sketch, which I prefer to call a scribble, is ridiculous. People cannot fly, thus it is rejected. You can't do that! I saw it with ease. And this crystal sphere? This is nothing more than a red herring. You honestly believe that? Give it some thought, and I'm sure you'll realize it as well, Miles Edgeworth. Elise Donham was in her room on the night of the murder. There was no reason for her to go to the ski bridge. More on that later. Therefore, this sphere cannot be related to this case. That is all. Miss Francisca von Karma. The only people who will accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns. Why are you pointing at me? The victim's crystal sphere was found near the bridge on the night of her murder. And yet you expect us to believe this has nothing to do with the case. The crystal sphere. It was probably thrown away at the bridge after the murder. After the murder? There is blood on the crystal sphere, isn't there? This naturally suggests that it was thrown away after the murder took place. The killer placed it there to throw the investigation off the scent. The same reason that he drew that ridiculous sketch. What? You mean I'm the killer? No, enough joking. Just when this crystal sphere appeared near the foot of the bridge, unless this can be proven in some way, I refuse to believe that this is related to the case. She makes a valid point. There is no evidence that Elise Donham left Hasakuta Temple that night. However, if somehow the crystal sphere can be proven to have been dropped before the victim was killed, then this case is going to transform into something else entirely. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth. I want your final opinion on this disposition of this crystal sphere. If it is not related to the case, then this witness who you called will have been nothing more than a monumental waste of time. Perhaps yourself, for some very appropriate, perhaps prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Miles Edgeworth. Can I prove it? Can I prove that the crystal sphere was dropped before the murder took place? Well... yeah, I can, actually. Can I prove it? That isn't the issue. To simply prove it, that's the only option. That's what he'd do. That's the way Phoenix Wright would do this. Your Honor, allow me to prove something to you. I will prove that this crystal sphere is a vital link to solving this case. You will do what? That look in your eyes. You remind me of Phoenix Wright when he is cornered. That should come as no surprise, because right now I am Phoenix Wright, and I am indeed cornered. I order you to present your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Evidence that proves that the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder. It's a shame I can't, you know. But you know, I haven't looked any. Found half covered in snow near the Dusky Bridge the night of the crime. Has blood on it. I guess I can present it. This crystal sphere, it was half buried in the snow, correct? That's right. Even if it hadn't stopped snowing, then it would have been game over. The snow would have totally covered it. That's all I needed to hear from you, Larry. Your testimony makes one thing clear. Quite clear, actually. What? When the crystal sphere was dropped, it was snowing. Even if it was ever so slightly. Snowing? On the other hand, let us look at the scene of the murder. Excuse me. As proven earlier today, there is no snow on the victim's body. Therefore, the crystal sphere must have been dropped before the murder. What? Order! 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 On the night of the murder, the victim did indeed go to Dusky Bridge, and there, something occurred that caused this crystal sphere to come loose. What? What could that have been? This sphere, there is some blood on it, isn't there? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this junction. The real crime scene was near the foot of the Dusky Bridge. The murder didn't take place in the Hasakura Temple courtyard? Only a fool would suggest such a foolish piece of absolute foolishness. Just who was the fool? And which part is so foolish, Miss Von Karma? Have you been paying any attention this whole time, Miles Edgeworth? This sister saw everything. She saw the victim being killed by the defendant in Hasakura Temple courtyard. That's not exactly true now, is it? To put it more precisely, when she saw was the murder weapon being removed from the victim's body. That's the same thing. Yes and no. No, it isn't. You said it yourself. Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you wanted to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. If that statement is of the truth, then the Dusky Bridge could very easily be the scene of the murder. The murder weapon was not removed, thus there was no bleeding. You are forgetting one vital thing, Miles Edgeworth. Yeah, I was kind of waiting for that. Elise Stonem's body was found in Hasakuda Temple. On foot, it takes 15 minutes to travel from the Dusky Bridge to Hasakuda Temple. You mean to suggest someone who carried the body all the way? All that way? I've made it this far. The only place to take this is to the end. I just need to prove the possibility it happened as I presumed. Now, if the defense is ready, the court would like to have an explanation. Please show us the method by which the victim's body was carried to Hasakuda Temple. Oh, that's simple. Remember the tracks? On that snowy night, there is there is one way that a body could have been moved. The snowmobile. As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It was explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon, but it could also have been used to carry a body. Order! This is completely unacceptable, Miles Edgeworth. You dug yourself into your own grave. What do you mean? The only one who could have had used the snowmobile was the defendant. She's the one who moved the body. Doesn't that put the final nail in your coffin? You are too late, Franziska von Karma. And in fact, the defense has proven something else entirely. We've shown that this case requires further investigation. What? Where was the victim Elise Stonem really killed? If her body was moved, whatever for? And finally, just what does this image mean? Do you even need to think about that? Such a creature could never see the truth, let alone describe it. This witness certainly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. However, he would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl with whom he is enamored. He drew this, so it is something that actually happened. The defense stands firm on this point. Edgy? Thank you. That settles it then. I cannot give a verdict under these circumstances. Right. I seem to have fulfilled my part in this. It's just as I thought. Franziska von Karma, you make a wonderful partner. Excuse me? There was one reason and one alone for me being here. To expose the darkness lurking in this case, and then pass it on to right. Really? That's what this is all about? You could have just told me that from the very beginning. Then I wouldn't have Francie here whipping me at. Ouch! Miles Edgeworth! I don't care about what you were here to do. This was my chance to finally grind you under my heel. A shame that your chance seems to have slipped by you. What a shame, Francie! This is all your fault. Such a terrible witness. You are in a front. Ow, 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 ow. I demand satisfaction. Yeah. Larry went down. I cannot believe that the witness testimony relates to an actual event. Actually it is. It does relate. Because the picture Larry, the sketch that Larry presented, is more than that. However, there has to be some sort of answers for the question it raises. Having his words here today been the truth or lies? Next time we gather in this courtroom, those are the matters that shall be addressed. I am counting on thorough investigations by both the defense and the prosecution. And with this, the rest is up to you, right? Court is now adjourned. Woo, man. This is why I like our third game so much. Well, it's my favorite in the series. It's just that suspenseful and I enjoy it. So now, next time we meet, we go back to into the investigation part. Because, wow, there's a lot more info to absorb. So, until then, everyone, take care and God bless. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and share with all your family and friends. If you're enjoying my content, consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to click that bell to receive notifications for new videos. Take care and God bless.